Before you start accomplishing your biggest goals, making more money, hitting major milestones, and achieving excellence in your life, there is one thing that you're going to need to start, and that is personal growth. So in today's episode, I'm going in depth about personal growth and how it will improve your finances, your mindset, your career, your relationship, your responses, your emotions, etc., etc. Basically, how personal growth will positively impact your quality of life. And you're going to want to stick around for the entire episode because not only am I getting real about personal growth, I'm going to be telling you exactly what to do to start your personal growth journey. So let's go. This is the space where you are saying yes to your biggest goals in a world full of idle dreamers by empowering your identity, beliefs, and abilities. Prepare yourself because to create the reality we want, we say no to excuses, who cares to other people's thoughts, feelings, or expectations. And we say enough to the things that are holding us back from our greatness. It's time to set the table to do the work to become successful, fulfilled, and free. Welcome to the Dream Lifestyle Podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dream Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Trevón Jr. and I'm excited to have you here because this podcast is all about helping people that feel stuck, help people that procrastinate, help people that feel unmotivated, help anybody that wants more in their life achieve excellence for their life. So if that's you, be sure to subscribe. These episodes drop every single Thursday morning. Also be sure to grab your free dream workbook in the description link below there, just to get you started on achieving excellence for your life. It's free, of course, so please be sure to pick up your copy of that. Today's episode, we're talking about personal growth. Okay. Now, before we really get started, I really want to hear from you guys. So leave a comment below about just your thoughts on personal growth, how you've started your personal growth journey, what's helped you, how you've done it, the changes you've made and just the benefits you've seen and things like that. Because, other people need to hear your story. Other people need to hear how personal growth is changing their life. And I really want to just give context. I really want to get detailed and I just want to get real about personal growth because, personal growth is something that really changed my life. It completely changed the way I thought. It changed the way I reacted. It changed the way I responded to situations, both expected and unexpected. And it was all just a result of personal growth. It was simply a result of me consciously making a decision that I wanted more for my life. And I wasn't going to continue to do the same things over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Because there are a lot of people out there that are honestly practicing insanity just because they think they don't have to change and the results that they want are just going to fall into their lap. And so that's where really personal growth comes into play because all of us have goals, all of us have dreams, all of us have milestones that we want to hit, positions that we want to attain, and just great things that we want to accomplish. But it really starts with personal growth. And, so I really want to start off by kind of just saying to anyone out there, like you are capable of personal growth. I've said this before, that if you have the ability to learn, you have the ability to improve your life. And in the context of this episode, if you have the ability to learn, you have the ability to personally grow. And that's so important just because there are so many people that come from different backgrounds. We all have different experiences, a different story, different traumas, different pain points, different triggers, things of that nature that, we almost get tricked into feeling as though this is just who I am. We get tricked into thinking that, well, there can't be more for me in my life because I'm first generation, graduating, or, my parents weren't there. My dad wasn't there. My mom wasn't there. I was abused. Whatever your story is, we get tricked into believing these narratives that we have to remain stuck in that story. And the truth is, as I said, if you have the ability to learn, and I'm not talking about rate of learning. I'm not talking about what you learn. I'm just saying if you have the ability to learn a new skill and gain knowledge, you have the ability to improve your life and personally grow. And, that's why this is so important, because this is a topic that is precious to me. And I think that if more people really decided, because a lot of personal growth is choice. It's about really drawing your line in the sand and making a decision for your life, that we would see just a completely different world. And so basically, again, what I want to do with this episode is get real. I just want to get real about personal growth because personal growth is a topic that I think gets talked about in concept a lot. It's a topic that gets theorized, but I really don't think enough people really just get practical about personal growth. Like, I like practical stuff. Theory and concept sounds great. It makes for a great Instagram caption and things of that nature. But I really want to get practical. I want to get real about personal growth. And so I want to just start with just kind of what personal growth is. And this is just by my definition. If you agree with it, let me know in the chat. If you don't, let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to hear from you. But essentially, what I define as personal growth is simply just finding the areas of your life that you're not good at and improving them. Okay. Just finding the different areas of your life that you're not good at and just making a conscious effort to improve them. And though it's a very simple definition, I think it's powerful, because all of us, particularly if you aren't necessarily like deep or experienced in your personal growth journey, all of us kind of know the areas in which we really need to improve in. Right? If you're the person that, you should be waking up earlier, but you aren't, like, that's an area of growth for you. If you're the person that in your finances, you're a spender and you aren't really able to save like you want to, so that way you can do the things you want to do with your savings, that's an area of growth for you. If you're the person where, if the smallest thing where someone cuts you off while you're driving and you are all of a sudden just throwing away your entire day because you're in an angry rage, that's an area of improvement. And so essentially, each and every one of us knows exactly what area that we need to improve in. And so personal growth says, let me identify that area and let me take purposeful action, intentional action to improve it. Right. And that looks very different for everybody. Right. And depending on the area. So, using the finances example, if you're a spender like I was at one point, and, you're like, well, I need to start saving because I have financial goals that I need to hit. Well, I need to start making conscious decisions, meaning I need to start saying no to people. I need to start looking up how to improve my finances. I need to learn from other people. How do I save money? What does that look like? Start saying no, start cooking, start doing a whole bunch of things. But it's about just making the intentional action step that I will no longer do what hasn't been working for me. I'm going to change my pattern. I'm going to disrupt my schedule, disrupt my usual tendency, and do something that at least I think works, right? It's not necessarily a guarantee, but better to try it than to not, right? And so that's essentially just how I define personal growth, right? And so even if you think about, just another example, if you're somebody where, physically, you're not really where you want to be, right? And not saying there's anything wrong with anybody, but essentially people know whether or not what you want to improve in, right? So I'm just using this as an example, so bear with me. But if you know that your weight is something that you want to improve, make the conscious decision to just do something at the gym. Make the conscious decision to walk. Make the conscious decision to do push-ups by your bedside. Make the conscious decision to just do something, because that right there is disrupting your pattern. That's disrupting what you usually do. That is basically allowing you to be or even have that growth area. And that's personal growth. It's simply making a conscious, consistent decision. All right. And so when you do that, you're going to start seeing changes. And more than likely, as you continue to take intentional action, as you continue to disrupt your patterns, you're going to start seeing improvements. And those improvements are going to feel really, really good, because you're going to start, your brain is almost just going to start seeing possibility and potential in more changes. Like, you're just almost going to become addicted to the change. You're going to become addicted to the process of, whoa, okay, if I was able to save that much money because I made that change, well, what's the next level of that? And then, well, if I was able to lose 5 pounds in a week because I started going to the gym twice a week, well, what would I do if I go 3 times a week? Or, if I, start talking to someone about whatever makes me feel a certain way, and I do that once a week and it's helped me out tremendously in my life, what happens if I start talking to more people about my experience? How much better will I feel? Things of that nature. You will then just become addicted to the results of that intentional action of the personal growth. All right. And that is just some of the benefits of personal growth, because it really has the potential to change your life, right? It really has the potential to do it. And because it has the potential to change your life, it's important, right? So I'm going to tell you exactly why. I'm going to tell you exactly why. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but you cannot stay the same in order to accomplish all that you want to do. All right. Who you are today is not, you haven't earned the right to have all that you want to have yet, just because you aren't the person that deserves it. That's just what it is. Right. But when you decide to take your personal growth seriously, when you decide to find the areas of your life, the multiple areas in your life, because you all have multiple areas. Nobody has just one area and like, that's it. I'm perfect in all of theirs except this one. All of us have different areas that we can improve in, right? All of us have different areas of improvement. But when you decide to take intentional action towards those different areas, you then allow yourself to become the person that you need to become to do what you need to do so that way you can have what you want to have, right? I talk about this concept a lot. And if this is helping you, please leave me a comment, like this episode, leave a review, subscribe, because I really want to hear from you. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. But who you are today is not deserving of the goal, because if that were the case, if you were the person that deserved the six-figure business, if you were the person that deserved to have, the certain letters behind your names, if you're the person that deserved to have a certain level of influence, platform, whatever the case may be, you would have it right now, right? So rather than try to, essentially practice insanity by thinking, well, I don't have to change, the world just needs to change around me. Let's take some intentional action. Let's self-reflect. Let's figure out, well, what can I do better? What haven't I been doing well? Let's talk to some other people so maybe they can shed light on my blind spots, right? In terms of things that I can improve. So that way I can do something to improve them. So that way I can personally grow. So again, I can do what I need to do so that way I can have all that I want to have, right? And it's a process. All of this is process. Personal growth is really a process. It's making a singular decision that I want more out of my life and I want to achieve excellence. And I'm going to just simply make intentional, consistent actions so that way I can do it. So that way, whatever the goal is, whatever the milestone is for myself, I put myself in position, in process to accomplish it. Okay. And that is why it is so, so important. Okay. It's so important because who you are today needs to change. It has to change because your dream is so worth it. It's so worth it because all that you're going to be able to accomplish with your dream can't be done if you don't change today. If you don't make the conscious decision to start waking up early, if you don't make the conscious decision to show up for yourself, if you don't make the conscious decision to start doing something that allows you to start trusting yourself, if you don't start making the conscious decision to take intentional action in your everyday life so that way you can personally grow, if you don't do that, you're missing out on so much. You're missing out on your purpose. You're missing out on impacting somebody else. You're missing out on just living your life to the fullest. And that to me is not worth it. Okay. And especially if you're here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If that resonates with you, please leave me a comment just to let me know that you agree. Because again, the personal growth is essential. You can ask any business person, any professional, any content creator. I don't care what space you're in. You're going to need personal growth because there's something that you don't know. In some way, shape, or form, there is a skill you don't know. There's a piece of knowledge you don't know. There is strategy you don't know. There's principles you may not know. There's always more to learn. There's always more to do. There's always more that you can build yourself up with. But again, it's about, identifying the areas that can be improved upon, right? And the thing about this too is it's not even about areas that are bad, right? So if you think about it at a level of, thinking about areas in your life where you would just categorize them as bad and you want to bring them, let's say, to neutral, like this personal growth really applies even if you're really good at all that you do, right? Let's say you have your finances in order, your responses are in order, like everything is in order in your life in terms of like what someone would consider a good level, right? You're in pretty good control of your life. Well, there's still areas in which you can improve. And so if you can improve in those areas, why not do it, right? And a lot of that just it's a level of self-accountability. It's a level of self-awareness that you're going to need to have so that way you can continue to challenge yourself. Right. Even if you are at that level, let's say you're really already like a high performing individual and the sort, you still can find areas that you can improve in. You can still search out information, and there's ways to do it. And I'm going to tell you at the end of this episode, so be sure to stick around. But make sure that you're doing everything that you can to identify the areas of improvement in your life and then taking action to improve them. All right. Now, I talked on this before too, just some of the benefits of personal growth. It's just when you decide I'm going to personally grow, when you decide what I used to do, I no longer am going to do, and I'm going to take this action to ensure I don't do it anymore, you're going to start seeing different actions and responses in different situations. Okay. Now, what does that look like? All right. For example, I'll give you guys a real life example. For me, I used to have, I would say, a fear of confrontation, like not necessarily like altercation, but like confrontation. Like I just was not, I was never really a confrontational person, which even like today, I'm really not. But be clear, if we got to talk about something, we're going to talk. So I've worked on it. But for me, confrontation was an area that I knew I needed to improve in, particularly as a business person. Every entrepreneur, I can tell you right now, please, if you aren't good at it, work on confrontation. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm doing it because it's helped. But with confrontation, for me, one of the things that I did to kind of help me improve was I kind of started to seek it out a little bit. And it would be in very small interactions. Like an example would be, if I, went to go get a burger or something like that, just use an example, and I ordered mushrooms on the burger. Yes, I like mushrooms on my burgers. Personally, I like them. But I order mushrooms on my burger, and the waiter brings it out, and there's no mushrooms. Now, in that situation, in past, I would just be like, all right, whatever, no big deal. And I would eat the burger, and I move on. But because I knew that confrontation was an area that I really wanted to improve in, I started in that small, some seemingly insignificant situation, insignificant scenario, I would say to the waiter, hey, where are the mushrooms? Right? And I wouldn't be rude about it. Let me be clear. I wouldn't be rude about it. I wouldn't be like one of those customers, but I would at least exercise the muscle of confrontation for myself and just simply ask the waiter, hey, where are the mushrooms? Right? Can you please go take this back, work it out. Right. Same thing with, a lot of for me working on my confrontation happened a lot at restaurants because a lot of times like I'm just like, oh, it's no big deal. Like I'll eat it anyway. But I was missing opportunities to personally grow. And, I tell you that because, it helped me. Like I started seeing differences even in business when I started working with people. Right. I would have certain expectations of timelines, deadlines. I would have certain expectations of how I wanted certain things to look and what I wanted certain things to do. But because, before I hadn't worked that muscle of confrontation, I wasn't saying anything. And as a result, I would have projects not really coming out the way that I want them to. I would have just things not being at a level of excellence that I honestly demand. And that would only hurt me. But that was simply a result of this area of confrontation that I hadn't worked on. But I can tell you over time, over more seeking out confrontation, I was able to work that muscle to the point where I started speaking up when things didn't look the way I wanted them to look. I started speaking up when I needed a change to happen or whatever it is when it came to communicating with someone else. But that was what I was able to do because I took the intentional action to personally grow in the area of confrontation for me. And the same thing has been true for my finances. The same thing has been true with, just any other area of my life that I have really found as an area of improvement. Because as human beings, I heard Tom Bilal say this, who's a billionaire. Impact Theory is really good podcast. Aside from this one, and he said that human beings have the ability to get better at anything that we put more time, energy, and effort in. Right. And that is a kind of another way of saying you need to personally grow. OK. And so, with everything I said, I got real about personal growth and just what it is. I gave you a real life example of how I'm doing it and just, essentially finding the areas of your life that you're not good at and improving them. and how it's for everybody. I don't care if you're listening to me, you can personally grow. And if you really want to learn how, I'm telling you, start with the free Dream Workbook. It's a great start. Okay, it's a great start because, again, this is a process, and you're listening to this podcast, so that's also a great beginning for you. Okay, but for anybody out there and you're trying to figure out, okay, personal growth, I'm with it, Trevon. I hear you. I'm on board. Where do I start? I want you to start with your morning routine. All right. I want you to start with your morning routine. Every single day when you wake up, I want you to figure out some sort of routine for yourself that you do every single day that keeps you centered. So you're beginning your day centered, where you're beginning your day present in today, not worrying about yesterday and everything that happened, not worrying about future, not thinking about what you should have done in your past, not thinking about what bills you have to pay in the future. Some sort of morning routine that allows you to feel confident, some morning routine that allows you to feel empowered, and some morning routine that allows you to feel peaceful. Okay? And I'm telling you, if you do that, you're on a great start to personally grow, because you're basically going to create margin. You're going to create space for yourself to think and get clear with yourself about other areas that you need to improve in. Okay? All from just starting a morning routine. Okay? And there are different types of morning routines. To me, I think there's 4 main parts of a morning routine that must be hit for anyone to have a really great day. But I just want you to establish some sort of morning routine. And in that morning routine, practice some level of mindfulness so that way you can self-reflect on just any area and find the areas that you need to improve in. All right. So again, I hope this episode was helpful to you. I hope that you make the decision after listening to this episode to take an intentional action in an area that you need to improve in, so that way you can personally grow, so that way you can achieve all that you want to achieve. You can achieve excellence. You can hit your milestones. You can make more money. You can build more relationships. You can just do all the amazing things that you dream about through personal growth. Okay. And if you haven't already, I told you about personal growth. Now, if you want to figure out one of the ways to do that, check out the last episode where I talked about being in the room. It's a great method on how to personally grow, where you can basically put yourself in a situation to be poured into, for people to tell you more information that you need. So that way you're not bumping your head left and right. But be sure to check out that episode right after this. If you're watching on YouTube, it's going to be somewhere, I think either on this side or it may be on the side, but one of these 2 sides, you're going to see it. If you're listening to me on a podcast platform, be sure to just go to the last episode. Really, really dope episode. And again, this podcast is all about anybody that feels stuck, feels unmotivated, that procrastinates, just simply wants more out of their life and wants to achieve excellence for their life. All right. So I appreciate you guys again. Be sure to pick up the free Dream Workbook, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Dominate.